So the Emerging Cities Initiative is linked to the East Port of Spain development strategy, and it is important to understand that. And what is that Emerging City Initiative? What is it about? This we are doing in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank. Now I want to explain something. They are not the only funders. They are the coordinators and organizers, and it is their initiative because they have done this in other cities. But we sat down with them to work out what we will do. So the program is ours. There are other multilateral institutions involved in it. And for this to work, the community has to participate, and the business community in Trinidad and Tobago has to participate, and indeed other community organizations in the country, NGOs and so on, have to participate. And we are trying to build up that capacity to do it now. And there are many people who have volunteered. And when we did a lot of work in the cultural community to bring them to the country with the spirit of independence on the 50th anniversary, part of the arrangement with these cultural phenomena, really, beautiful artists in Trinidad and Tobago, gifted artists, and people who have excelled in their field, part of their commitment was that they would also work with us on a development strategy for East Port of Spain. And they very much prepared to do that kind of work. So what we are involved in this Emerging City of Port of Spain initiative is environment and infrastructure development, including protecting the watersheds in environmentally sensitive areas, wastewater management and flood mitigation. And the Honorable Minister of Environment and Water Resources would have spoken about his own initiative, which he is driving, funded by the IDB, which deals with the flooding in the Port of Spain area and includes East Port of Spain on the dry river side. And it is important to understand that sometimes the development has to follow the solutions of problems that have now become perennial. And therefore, there is a sequencing that is required in order to make development happen in a meaningful way that impacts on the community. The second thing is cultural heritage restoration. The restoration of Fort Picton and creation of the tourism potential around this and other sites. Now, Fort Picton is a very important fort because Governor Picton fought against both the French and the Spanish in a single battle to stave them off. And it has a significance for the country, but it also has a significance for the people because this is where it is located. And if we were to restore and rehabilitate that, not only would it be meaningful to the country, but it would be meaningful to the people. And if they took ownership of this heritage asset, it could make a difference in terms of their behavior. And this is the context in which the notion of the cable car is perceived. The cable car idea is not something that we dreamt one morning. It is not something that is isolated from other developments. It is linked to successes in other countries, including places like Colombia, which are not too far from here, and which have been located as initiatives inside of communities that are much more ghettoized than East Port of Spain, where the quality of living is really below human imagination, and where things have been really rough, and where there have been gangsters and criminal activity. But what has happened as you put these cable cars and you have the movement of people in and out, and you develop the heritage elements of the community, and you create the conditions for commercial opportunity and enterprise, and you create the opportunity also for cultural assertion and creation, what happens is that the dynamic of isolation gives way to the opportunity of integration and interculturation. And what this does is that it creates an opening for development with a strong human development content. And most of the industries that have developed around that have been labor intensive and imagination intensive.